Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I is, the good doc, Dr. Mike, back again, once again, or probably one of the more funnier videos that I could ever make in my whole entire life. This is just the funniest thing, the scariest thing, and the realest thing that I could ever share with you guys. Many of you guys in the West may know about this, many of you may not. But before we get into the video, guys, make sure you subscribe, notify. Definitely make sure you check out the ebooks and everything listed in the links in the description area below. Most definitely the masterclass, guys. Don't sleep on that. And of course, we got the new official ebook album, Foreigner's Guide to Tricking and Treating in the Philippines, available only in PDF version. Send me an email and I'll make sure I take care of that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is better to be safe than sorry. Okay? Better to be safe than sorry. So I had a friend of mine who wanted me to do this video. He said, Mike, I want to send you something. And when I send it to you, I want you to make this video because I think it is something that shall be put, like that energy has to be put out into the universe for his sake. And I'm like, all right, man, you're a good friend. Fuck it, I got you, right? So a friend of mine told me about his contracts, AKA his sex contracts. Now, it's gonna sound a little funny, but when I outline it, you'll eventually understand what the good doc is getting at. What it is that he draws up contracts for women that he sleeps with, and I could not help myself but laugh. He was like, yo, man, every time I get with a girl, I make her sign this sex contract. I'm like, what the hell is this? Some 50 Shades of Grey type shit? You know, some Christian Grey, you're my sex slave type contract shit? He's like, nah, Mike, it ain't nothing like that. He said it goes a little something like this. I have a general contract that I give to all the women that I sleep with simply because I don't want any backlash or I don't want any retaliation once things eventually end. He said he knows that things will eventually come to an end and he just doesn't want there to be any backlash if a breakup goes bad or something. I'm like, okay, I can respect that. So basically what you see before you is the way the contract is detailed or written out. Again, some more detail is added when necessary, but for the most part, this is the basic contract that my man puts out for his ladies. It says, I, your name, the young lady's name that he's with, consent to having sexual intercourse with, and he puts his name. And then it also says, I admit to being of age and a willing participant in this act. So basically, he sees ID, and even if the ID is wrong, I don't know why this is included, but he says I have to put it in there just to make sure people know none of that underage shit is going on over here, or at least if it is, it was not with prior knowledge. Okay, I don't know. He covers his bases, man. He's a pretty intelligent guy, which is why I found this to be one of the more absolute craziest videos that I could ever make. But it had to be made because this is the way hooking up in the West has become. This is where it has gone to. And again, we'll talk about how we got to that point a little bit later on. So basically at the end it says, I am signing this on my own free will and I am not under any stress or duress. Basically saying I'm signing this because I want to sign this. I'm not signing this because I am obligated to sign it, right? And the first thing that came to mind is, bruh, what do these girls think about? I mean, how do these girls feel when you give them this piece of paper and make them sign it? He was like, well, in the beginning, you know, you would get the questions. Why you want me to sign that? Why you want me to do that? And he says after he explains it, he said there's not really much of an issue after it. In hindsight, most of the girls, they'll read through it real quick. They'll laugh about it because they find it to be funny. And then they'll end up signing it anyway. So again, you know, basically print your name, signature over printed name. You know how the game goes, right? Like this is an official document. And, you know, whenever he wants to try something new, he adds this to the context. That is also included in the contract as well. And this is just classic to me because I have never, ever had this problem in the Philippines. Not one day in my whole entire life have you ever heard of a guy being Me Too'd, anything of that nature. And to be honest, that's kind of where the Me Too movement has guys, you know, pinned to the teal and put in the corner, man. I mean, the fact that guys are getting in trouble for things that they may have done 20 years ago. And I mean, if they're wrong, they're wrong. Don't get it twisted. But the fact that you're trying to get a guy on something that maybe he did to you or maybe he didn't do, and then you shed a couple of tears and people are naturally on your side. Can you imagine how that feels as a man? So again, my man makes these girls sign these contracts, which is the most hilarious thing on God's green earth to myself, and I just had to share it with you because this is something that is unusual to me. You mean to tell me I have to break out a legal document? Yeah, it may not be signed or notarized by a notary public, but I have to bring out official documentation to be intimate with a young lady. And again, this is what guys are doing to protect themselves in the West. This is what guys have to do to protect themselves in the long run in the West. How it got this far, I don't know. But all of the false accusations that float around, not saying they're all false, but, throwing out these false accusations and, just, lying on the dude's name and stuff. And this is happening to celebrities. And it's really getting out of hand. And if a woman knows that that's all she has to do to keep somebody in check, that's rough. Or, I'm sorry, not to keep them in check, but to exploit them or to try to get something from them, that's bad juju. And, women can be emotional, no different than any woman in the world. Let's not say it's just Western women, but when their emotions take over because of the hurt and pain that they feel, they're going to try to hurt you 10 times worse. And to be honest with you, and myself included, there is no better way to hurt a man than in his wallet and his reputation, okay? No better way to hurt a man than in his wallet and his reputation. Number one, the wallet. You sue him or, convince him or blackmail him into giving you money in order not to be sued or whatever. Number two, reputation. All that woman has to do is put that energy out there. Oh, he touched me inappropriately. Bam, you lose your job. That's how quick people are getting fired nowadays because nobody wants to be associated with somebody who was accused of a crime. Focus on that. Just the accusation of a crime is enough to get you messed up. You understand? Enough to get you fired, enough to do this. That's why guys, honestly, you want to know the truth, that's why they're not dealing with women in the West anymore. It's a little bit deeper than just Me Too and all of this stuff, man. It's a lot of woman feminism and all that stuff. It's a little bit deeper than all of that, man. It's to the point where you have good women out there who are literally going to suffer. I'm telling you right now, they are going to suffer simply because no man is willing to put his reputation and his finances on the line just to have a casual relationship with the young lady. Because nowadays, casual don't mean casual. Casual can come back and bite you in the ass. Yeah, she might have wanted it that time. Now, all of a sudden, all she has to do is say, no, that's not what it was. One thing led to another, and I don't remember that night we were drinking. I mean, it could go 100 different ways. All a woman has to do is say the words, man. That's all they got to do. So I'm scared for my gentlemen in the West, man. Don't get it twisted, man. I think about this all the time. And I don't think that this is all women. I think you could generally get to the point where you'll understand if she is capable of, doing such things. But again, guys are so damn scared now. They're shook because of this shit. I am not about to put my job and my reputation and my finances on the line for no piece of ass. No disrespect, but it's the truth. And I think if you want to know the truth, if we're going to transcend this into what the good doc is all about, this is the reason why men are looking for women overseas. Yeah, the same thing could potentially happen overseas, okay? I'm not saying that it cannot happen overseas. Potentially it could happen. But the odds are so much greater in country than it is out of country. Because Me Too don't exist in many parts of the world outside of the United States. And to be honest with you, if you want to know the truth, I read an article, can't tell you what that article was because that was 100 years ago, or at least it felt like it. But there are people who define, Me Too and the whole nine and the movement completely separate from people in the West or people in the United States. So they see how the effects of what's happening in the United States is affecting them in their dating markets as well. So that's just something to, that's a little food for thought for you to take into consideration. All right, guys, Doc's not going to keep you much longer. Just wanted to give you this one. Again, I plan on doing a live stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about how long should you wait to mate with your date or something like that. I think that's the live stream I'm going to put through tonight. All right. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that one. Make sure you catch up for the notifications. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun. It has been real, but you know who it is, the good doc, Dr. Mike TV. And I am officially out. Aalis na ko paalam, which means I'm going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.